might seem crazy what I'm about to say.
Good afternoon, everybody. How's everyone doing? Good. Okay, there I am. I feel like I can also hear myself now. So I know we've been sitting for a while, so I'm going to ask you all to please stand. All right, this is, I know Joni made you do squats this morning. She's my business partner. So she starts with the squats, I bring in the burpees. No! Okay, so I'm going to ask you all to just stand like this for a little bit while I speak. Okay, so there's research that was done by a professor named Ntsiki Mkhize at Harvard University around the power pose, and this is called a power pose. And she found, bless you, that if you stand like this for 2 minutes, you increase your levels of testosterone, and ladies, yes, you have that too, which is your confidence hormone, and you decrease your levels of cortisol, which is what makes you feel stressed out. So the next time you have a big presentation, or you're going in to negotiate your salary, you just walk around the office like this. Officer at Making Resilient People, and I love that title because I made it up. And that's the wonderful thing about being an entrepreneur, that you can make up your own titles, right? I'm also an MC, I'm a speaker, but mostly what I'm proud of today is the fact that I'm an author, and I've just published my first book titled My Hall of Mentors. And I know people are more engaging in these prizes. So I have a copy. I had two, then somebody bought one on my way down here, so now I have one left. So I'm going to give this one away to somebody here today. So just from an encouragement to participate when I ask questions, you can get a book. That's it. So you can already, maybe you're in the running, sir. We'll see who comes up later on, if there's any other competitors to it. And what I want to chat to you about as we close off today, we've been talking about rebooting, and I know you did some breathing exercises earlier on this morning with Joni, along with the squats. We've looked at the beliefs that we all have, because we grew up a certain way. We went to varsity and we ate slab chips and Coke for 3 years, and then our metabolism worked it out. Then you got a job, and you kept on eating slab chips and Coke, but your body wasn't quite doing what it was supposed to do, right? So you don't have the metabolism to accompany that. So some of the beliefs that we've picked up and the habits that we've picked up and just going, some of that stuff isn't true, some of the stuff isn't valid, and some of that stuff isn't serving me anymore. And Ntsiki spoke very lovely around that element of resilience and positivity, which I believe we all need. So when we talk about happiness as a strategy to success, how many of you here today would say that you are happy? Sitting here right now, like, you're happy. Okay, that is good, right? So there are many things that influence why or why not we are or are not happy. So for example, when I was younger, I wanted to be the president. Haha. Right? I have to get there. I feel like applications are open and they just, if you guys all vote for me, it could be a good start. Anything is possible, right? I wanted to be the president, and the reason why I wanted to be the president was because one, at home I was really good at resolving disputes, and I was like, this is great, I could do this for the whole country, like, let's go. And then secondly, I thought the president was somebody who had money and power and influence, and therefore they could change the world. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to change the world. Then I did debating in high school and realized I hate arguing, and I was stuck in parliament. And so I decided against becoming the president. However, with that being the dream, and you all have the dream, when you were younger you wanted to be X. Whether you are X today or not is a different question. But whether or not you are X may be something that influences if you're happy or not. Now I love the fact that a lot of you put up your hands because that means you're happy, and I'm hoping that you are holistically happy. So outside of just the money that you make, or the fact that you're out of office today, which is maybe why you're happy, that you are genuinely happy. And sometimes it's very difficult to be happy when life hasn't worked out the way we thought it would. Now, Sean Eko is a professor at Stanford University, and he wrote a book called The Happiness Advantage. You can cheat and just watch the TED Talk, it's only 20 minutes. And in it, he speaks about how happiness is a precursor to success. The challenge that we have as human beings is that we tend to put happiness on the other side of accomplishment, right? So we say, when I make X amount of money, then I'll be happy. Or once I have this car or this house, or when I reach this particular sales target, then I'll be happy. The problem with that is that you make 20,000, and then you have 20,000 expenses, and then now you need 30. Then you start making 30, and then your lifestyle is at 30,000, and now you need 40. And the problem is that we're constantly moving the goalpost. And when you move a goalpost, your brain works really hard to accomplish this goal that you've given it, and then it gets there, and you say, psych, let's try this. And that creates a state of cognitive dissonance in your brain. So your brain kind of feels like it's never really accomplishing anything. And this is what Sean Aker found when he tracked a group of MBA students who graduated from an Ivy League school. And so his thought was, you were smart enough to make it into an MBA program at an Ivy League school. You either had the money or you got a scholarship. And now that you've graduated, your opportunities for employment are much greater, and obviously you're going to earn really well. And you should be happy. And you find that most of these people are actually unhappy, and in some instances suffering from heavy anxiety, and some even from depression. And that was because they kept on moving the goalposts throughout their lives. So the goal was to become an MBA student. Now that I've graduated, the goal actually is to get the corner office. And now that I have a corner office, the goal is actually to get nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. And you just keep moving and moving and moving the goalpost. So what he says is that if you can learn to be happy before you accomplish something, you're a lot better at potentially accomplishing that particular thing. So in the survey that they did, they found that doctors who made a diagnosis when they were happy, and happiness really refers to your brain being in a state of positivity versus being neutral or stressed. So when your brain, a doctor's brain is at positive, they were more accurate in making a diagnosis. They found that salespeople were more effective in making sales when they made the sale while they were happy. And on the production line, they found that people putting together the parts on the production line or the assembly line were more effective. So they got the job done in half the time if they were working happy. Now think about yourself. And the last time you had a really bad morning. And how that bad morning carried out throughout the entire day. And how productive you were when that happened. Alright? Ladies, some of you, depending on how you manage your life, certain times in the month you're happier than others, right? But if you think about how you're feeling when you're not so happy, how does that affect everything else that you do? When you literally walk out the house and all you want to do is stay in bed. And that begins to put into context how if you're happy and functioning from a place of happiness, you can be more successful. Now, happiness is different for all of us, right? So you might be happy watching YouTube videos of kittens, and somebody else might be happy watching YouTube videos of people falling down. It's whatever it is for whoever. Happiness is about what gets your brain into a state of positivity. Some quick tools you can use. One, for example, is random acts of kindness. If you do something lovely for somebody else, the psychology is just that you also feel good. The other thing is journaling about a positive experience, because your brain doesn't distinguish between something actually happening or you just thinking about it. So you know this, right? 8 o'clock in the morning, you're making your way to the office and you almost die because people are crazy out there. And you're upset, and then you're like, I can't believe it, and you calm down, and the day goes, and then you get home, and your partner goes, hey, how was your day? And you go, oh my goodness, you won't believe it, 8 o'clock this morning, this person cut me off, I almost died, and you get as angry as you were 8 o'clock in the morning at 8 o'clock in the evening. That works exactly the same with a happy experience. So if you journal or share with somebody a happy experience, that allows your brain to relive that positivity and puts your brain in a space of happiness or positivity. Something else you can do is practice gratitude. So whether you write down in your diary about what you're happy about, whether you open up a tab on your phone to write down about something you're grateful for, or if you just share it at dinner as a practice before we start eating. And what that does is it trains your brain to scan the world for the positive instead of the negative. Now I love this one for people who are naturally very cynical. Okay, just try it. Okay, your brain needs a boost in getting you to see things a bit more positively. Now, so those are some tools you can do. In addition to that, there's exercise and meditation. We'll talk a little bit about that later on. But the challenge, aside from just being happy, truly happy, holistically happy, is the fact that a lot of us aren't really able to identify our emotions.